This episode of FineScale Modeler's new product rundown features Eduard's S.E.5a, MiniArt's SU-122, Hasegawa's Jun'yo, Takom's FV432, and Zvezda's 737-800.
Welcome to the new product rundown. I'm Elizabeth Nash here with Aaron Skinner.
To take a look at some new kits and show you what's inside.
Starting with Eduard's 1/48 scale S.E.5a.
Developed by the Royal Aircraft Factory in 1916, the Scout Experimental 5 fighter, especially the more powerful A model, was fast, stable, and maneuverable.
Attributes that made it popular, and it was flown by several Allied aces.
Despite more than 5,000 being built during World War I, the aircraft has only been kitted twice before in 1/48 scale by Lindbergh and Aurora back in the 1960s.
Typical of Eduard's recent offerings, the dark gray plastic parts show fine raised rivets and lap joints, recessed panel lines, and petite stitching on the fabric rear fuselage.
Raised rib tape and stitching details the one-piece upper wing and its separate ailerons.
Also separate, the elevators and rudder.
The lower wing incorporates the cockpit floor and the underside of the engine cowl.
This kit includes the Wolseley Viper power plant, including separate cylinder blocks, and oil sump. The tree has unused engine parts, probably for a S.E.5a.
This kit uses a two-bladed prop, but a four-bladed option is on the tree, as are optional radiators.
The cockpit comprises side frames, seat, instrument panel, dials, and controls.
The upper fuselage top is divided between the cockpit surround and the engine cover with hinge.
The fuselage-mounted Vickers and Lewis machine guns are well molded.
The cabane and interplane struts are sharply molded with rivets and rigging brackets.
The same can be said for the optional landing gear struts.
Clear parts provide optional windshields, the telescopic sight, and inspection ports on the wings and tail. Eduard pre-cut masks make painting them easy.
Photo etch details the panel, seat belts, control horns, and frames for the inspection windows.
Cartograph decals give markings for 5 fighters, including 3 British and 2 American planes.
Shallow dimples mark attachment points for the rigging, and the instructions include a rigging diagram.
Eduard has some help for rigging in the form of PE stretchers for both single and double lines.
Eduard has released several Brasson sets for the S.E.5a, including both left and right-turning two-bladed propellers,
A resin and PE radiator, and machine guns.
The basic kit is outstanding, and the aftermarket parts will make the kit even better.
Next we have MiniArt's 1/35 scale SU-122.
The vehicle, designed in response to the German Sturmgeschütz, hasn't been kitted a lot. Tamiya has had the only kit in 1/35 scale for a long time.
MiniArt's rendition of the Soviet World War II self-propelled gun includes a lot of interior detail.
Surface detail on the multi-part hull includes fine recessed lines and sharp bolts.
The back of the vehicle is taken up with a pretty complete V12 engine, including heads, exhausts, fuel tanks, plumbing, transmission, and fan.
Radiators, air cleaners, and more finish the engine compartment.
It sits under a sharply molded engine deck with fenders, weld seams, and open hatches. The optional fan covers provide a choice of molded grille or a photo etch replacement.
The rear plates are separate, as are the front and rear fenders. The side engine hatches feature open molded grilles.
The fighting compartment casemate comprises individual front, side, rear, and top plates. All of the hatches are posable, and there's a great cast texture on the mantlet and gunner's vision port.
The gun barrel includes rifling, and the rest of the 122mm artillery pieces there, including the cradle, recoil system, mount, sight, and controls.
Elsewhere in the fighting compartment is the driver's position with seat and controls, as well as floor under the gun.
Ammunition, seats, and more occupy all of the available space in the vehicle.
The suspension consists of individual spring towers with separate springs and 2-part road wheel arms. 4 external fuel tanks sit on the rear hull.
The road wheels are the solid dish type with perforated tires.
Drive sprockets and idlers finish the lower hull.
Workable individual link tracks go around the running gear.
Photo etch brass provides engine screens, metal brackets, tie downs, and straps.
Clear plastic supplies periscopes, vision blocks, and headlight lenses.
A small decal sheet and color diagrams give markings for 3 Soviet SU-122s in 1943 and 44.
Another welcome kit for fans of Soviet armor. The kit is also available without the interior.
Next, we have Hasegawa's 1/350th scale Jun'yo.
This Japanese aircraft carrier entered service in May 1942 and operated until the end of the war.
Albeit as a transport only after the Battle of Marianas in June 1944, when the flight deck was damaged beyond repair.
An American torpedo damaged the ship again in December of the same year.
It was again repaired, but waited out the end of the war at Sasebo. It was scrapped in mid-1946.
Nicely molded hull halves include plates and portholes. The shapes belie the carrier's origin as the passenger and cargo ship that it was converted from.
The 24-inch hull is bolstered by interior braces that double as supports for the stand.
The two-part deck has molded planks with retracted catch nets and open elevators. The rudder and prop shaft tunnels are separate.
The middle deck extensions, fore and aft, hang over bow and stern decks with molded linoleum, bollards, and more. The structural details include walls, the island, the angled funnel, and recessed boat wells.
The flight deck extensions include open molded structural frames with girders and crossmembers.
The ship's boats include internal details, canvas covers, and separate rudders and props.
The deck edges bristle with gun emplacements and other decks.
16 triple 25mm mounts, 6 twin 12.7 centimeter guns, and a few individual 25mm guns fill those decks. The armament comprises multiple parts and sharp moldings.
The kit includes metal for the anchor chain,
along with parts for 3 A6M50s, 3 A6M2B0s, 3 Nakajima B6N2 Jills, and 3 D4Y Judys. All include clear canopies.
Decals provide markings for the flight deck, flags, and the aircraft. The latter includes individual tail numbers for aircraft from squadrons on Jun'yo in June 1944.
If you want more aircraft, Hasegawa has a set of Japanese planes perfectly suited for this kit.
It doubles the numbers of each type in the kit and includes decals.
Another impressive large-scale carrier from Hasegawa, it should make a striking display.
Shifting back to armor, let's take a look inside Takom's 1/35th scale FV432.
A British Army personnel carrier, the FV432, entered service in 1963. Nearly half of the more than 3,000 built are still operational today.
And it hasn't been the subject of many kits. The only 1/35th scale options came from Accurate Armor, until now.
Takom not only kits the vehicle, but it provides a full interior, including a driver's compartment with seat and controls, crew compartment walls, radios, batteries, and bulkheads.
The troop compartment comprises bench seats, ceiling fixtures, and stowage racks. About the only thing missing is the Rolls-Royce engine.
All of that fits into the lower hull with detail molded inside and out.
The upper hull builds from separate roof, side panels, and a front plate. The prominent exhaust on the port side is nicely represented too.
All of the doors, including the rear loading ramp, drivers, commanders, and engine access hatches, and the big one over the troop compartment are separate and posable.
The road wheel arms are keyed for alignment and join springs, wheels, idlers, return rollers, and drive sprockets on the lower hull.
The tracks come in link and link format with some sag in the upper run. A jig merges the upper run with the front and rear curved sections around the drive sprocket and idler.
Photo etch brass supplies mud flaps, headlight guards, brackets, and the mesh for the rooftop stowage bin.
A small decal sheet provides markings for 4 British Army FV432s, including one from the Gulf War and another in the striking Berlin camouflage.
A nifty release from Takom that fills an important gap in the catalog of British armor.
Finally, we have Zvezda's 1:144 scale Boeing 737-800.
This is the second largest of the Boeing so-called next-generation 737 family, and it's widely used throughout the world.
The fuselage halves show ultra-fine recessed panel lines and door surrounds. The cabin windows are molded open with clear inserts provided. The cockpit glass incorporates part of the forward fuselage.
The one-piece lower wing and 2 upper wings have fine recessed surface detail, and the upper wing tabs double as the roof of the main wheel well.
Bulkheads box in the bay, and the landing gear struts are appropriately thin and beautifully detailed. The rudder is separate, but unlike Zvezda's recent Airbus A320 kits, the flaps and slats are molded in place. Note also the choices given for the wingtips. There's the regular without the winglets, the original type of winglet, and the newer shark fin winglets. These are among the many options given in the kit.
The CFM56 engines comprise separate hot sections with 1-part cones, fans, halved cowl bodies, and one-piece intake lips that look like they nail the unique shape.
The kit can be built in flight on a stand.
Decals provide markings and stenciling for 2 737s from Russian carrier UT Air.
The kit's markings look great, but many airliner enthusiasts will buy it and put aftermarket decals on it, and they're going to appreciate the many options. In addition to the choice of winglets, there are windshields with and without the eyebrow windows and different tail cones. Unused window strips make me wonder if we're going to see the shorter -700 version in the near future.
Look for reviews of the 737, SU-122, S.E.5a, and Jun'yo in upcoming issues of FineScale Modeler magazine.
And you can see more new products in the May issue on sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. I'm Elizabeth Nash.
And I'm Aaron Skinner. And a choice of tail bits.
Tail bits.
Yes, tail bits.
Ah.
My side, my side. I thought we could just roll straight in there, but it's just not working.
I think we still can. You
Really?
guys don't mind, right? Go ahead.
And you can see more new products in the May issue on sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com. I'm Elizabeth Nash.
And I'm a complete disaster area.